Let's just go to the comments here. Mbadha Mwema is saying, what is he going to do with irrigation? Yet we've got 3 major rivers and several dams in Machakos, Thika, Tana, and Athi. Machakos should be a food basket.
I could not agree more. By the way, yesterday I was on Wednesday I was in Katangi.
Yeah.
And there's a place there called Kwangei and another one called Bembani. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
And they need maize silos. That's how much maize they produce.
Wow.
They need maize silos, but they don't have Kamale and places like that. They need maize. I mean, the potential for feed is immense, but the Yatta Faro has not been maintained for probably 2 to 3 decades now. And that's potential to get water all the way to Mamba into the food baskets on that side. In Mwala, there's a place in Biuni, Kadama, where the oranges, my friend, ukisikia Mkamba akikataa na maembe na machungwa, the country will go on strike.
Yes.
But they all come from those places. And these farmers get nothing. You imagine a mkulima in Modesia, a place in Modesia where, let me take an example, there's a place called Manyata where they do really nice mangoes.
Yeah.
A 70 kg gunia is 500 bob. 70 kg. Ukiingia Quickmart, 2 kgs ni sombili.
Wow.
So the difference is what you call the lost opportunity for the people of Ukambani. Because those women are desperate to sell the 70 kgs for the little money that they'll get, and they hardly ever able to put anything back. So they can't put any inputs back. They can't put fertilizer. They can't de-acidify the soil. They cannot get any sprays to deal with fruit flies and things like that, because they just simply can't afford it. And then the market access becomes an issue, because yes, Ukambani is dry, but when it rains, it rains.
True.
When it rains, it rains. And access becomes a big issue. So what happens? This potential income earner becomes a curse for them.
So what are you going to do for them?
It's simple road access. You know, everybody wants tarmac, but tarmac is not the solution to all the problems. If we get the bridges done correctly, and we get good maram roads, good quality maram roads, graded and compacted, and as you get budget, you increase. You are able to do what they call low volume seal roads.
Yeah.
So you get a good maram road, the foundation of the road is solid. Ukipata pesa kidogo, unaongeza a thin layer of tarmac to market centers and things like that. When you are now swimming in cash, you can then now put a final layer of bitumen. And these are the things we've been doing with the national government, just trying to increase reach, connectivity between markets and farmers. Because once we can get the people of Masinga and Yatta closer to their source markets, the key markets, which are Thika and Moranga, the money starts increasing.
True. Because
you remove the number of brokers in between. And the real money starts coming out. This road from Makutano Mwala until Tala, that needs to be done properly so that we connect Mbiyuni all the way until a place called Miseleni going into Matungulu East. If we can get those roads sorted, oranges for juice, for consumption, or you access a market of thousands of acres of oranges in the hands of smallholder farmers. And that is the plan. Because these places, as the crow flies, are all less than 100 kilometers away from the capital city.
Sure.
Where the consumption of, you have a daytime population here running into almost 7 point something meter people. Sure. They need to eat oranges. They need to eat mangoes. And the best mangoes and oranges come from Machakos.
Wow. Baby Beatrice, good morning. Saying congrats to Waita for the dual road up to Chumvi. Angalia Konza City. And that's what I want to talk about, Konza City. That's a real giant in the making, huh?
Now, Konza City, has moved from conceptual stage.
Yeah.
It's now real.
It's real. I was there a while ago, and I could not believe the activity going on.
The activity is massive, but the anchor tenant, the Korean Institute of Science and Technology, is now on site. What is my plan? My plan is very simple. we want a very aggressive bursary program for vocational training, because I want to put our young people, you know, this belief that the only education pathway is to university, we must demystify it, because the university intake after Form 4 is very low. You know,
True.
the transition rate from Form 4
to university is tiny.
Is in single digits in Ukambani. It's in single digit percentage. So what happens to the rest of those kids? They won't go to university. The logical pathway is to give them technical skills, vocational training, teach them how to stitch, because we are the EPZ, half the EPZ is in Machakos.
That's true.
And now that we are negotiating a new economic partnership with the United States of America, we expect that the replacement for AGOA will include textiles. Cotton planting is something I intend to roll out in Masinga and Yatta, because we now have the approval in Kenya to plant biotechnical cotton, which means we have good disease-proof cotton that we can roll out to farmers, where the value addition process needs young men and women to be stitching, to be cutting, and to be making garments for export and hopefully for local consumption. Vocational training, digital skills, because nowadays it's not just about teaching people how to weld and how to do.
Now it's things like coding,
and building websites, and you don't need to be a graduate to do any of that stuff.
True.
And any kid who can use a smartphone to send a WhatsApp and to do a meme is fodder for training.
That is true.
And they are ready, and they can be easily converted into kids that can get into Konza Tech to do work, to do coding, to do data entry, to do all this outsourced information work that's likely to come to our region, because we have the correct connectivity. Kenya has, by and large, the best connectivity in the region, internet connectivity. We have, by and large, the best mobile coverage in the region. So there's nothing stopping us from doing, from embracing what you call the gig economy. And the gig economy are just all these small online jobs. And why should the gig economy only be for urban kids in Nairobi, who, by the way, are not so interested in it? Allow us to teach our boys and girls who have finished Form 4, give them digital skills in our technical vocational training centers, and allow them to take advantage of the gig economy. If American kids want to outsource the writing of their shairis and their nini,
let them come.
Let the pesa.
Let's talk about the economic opportunity in terms of real estate ownership and being able to build the technopolis and getting and building basically an entire city. Is that still on track?
That's on track, but there's an issue in Machakos that we sort of need to sort out, which is the issue of enforcement of planning and zoning.
Yes.
Because Konza City, inside the Konza environment, and you know Konza is shared between 3 counties.
Oh,
so
actually, it's a huge place.
So Kajiado has one border.
Yeah.
Makueni has one border, and Machakos has one border. There is a buffer zone of 10 kilometers around on all sides, where there's supposed to be joint planning, so that you don't have slums and disorganized development developing around there.
Yes,
we need to develop complementary infrastructure to Konza. So we need affordable housing, low-cost housing in an organized manner. We need utilities like power, water, and inadequate supply for distribution around that buffer zone for people to stay there. We need good road networks going into Malili and surrounding areas, Kilimakiu, and all the places, Ulu, all the places near Chumbi, near Konza. We also then need to be very clear about where food is going to come from. And
that's true.
And make sure that there is adequate food, there is good infrastructure to connect to the highway, and good infrastructure to connect to the SGR.
Yeah.
Because they both touch the Konza development. You then have towns that are bordering Konza Tech. You have towns on the main road, Mombasa Road, but you have also Konza Town, which is at the back, and there's no road. There's no road access to Konza Town. There's no health facilities, and there's no allocation of land for social amenities, because every community needs a church or a place of worship, whether it's a church or a mosque. You need to provide publicly available land for those facilities. You need facilities for health centers, and not health centers by name, health centers by action. Health centers where there are real doctors, there are nurses, there are clinical officers and technicians, and medicine. So the one thing you find across Machakos is there's no medicine. There is no medicine in our hospitals. So hii PR mmekuwa mkisikia. Is smoke and mirrors. Is smoke and mirrors.
As you knew, Machakos was better than Nairobi.
What they did is they had somebody who was very articulate at painting a picture of progress, but the reality on the ground is desperate.